Chat, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I actually enjoy Skull Merchant a lot. Um, I played a shit ton off stream yesterday. And that is something I usually don't do. It was odd. 100 hours, I can't even play Skull Merchant for 10 minutes. She's not that bad, honestly. It's weird because, like, I never really felt like playing Pyramid Head off stream a lot of the times because there's something about Pyramid Head that, like, he's simpler than Skull Merchant. He's much simpler than Skull Merchant, but, like, something about him just made me not want to play him off stream. Well, here's the thing about this for his, so I don't want to get it done too fast because I do also want to go over every add-on in a video, and, you know, if I do it too fast, then yeah, that'll be done with. Speaking of a quick update, we're at 6.5 or almost 7 hours, and I played a shit ton last night. And just for some preface here, I got a 2K this match, 4K, 3K. They gave up, by the way. 3K, 4K, 3K. Yeah, I'm still winning most of my matches even in the event. It really hasn't been that much of a torturous experience for me, honestly, at least so far. I don't know. There's something about her that's like... There's something about a character that, like, requires, like, a bunch of, not necessarily thought, but a little bit of pre-planning that she does. Because I think with Pyramid Head, the reason why I was, like, stressing so much playing him on stream, off stream, and all of this stuff, I think it genuinely comes down to mechanical aim. I don't really have to do that with Skull Merchants. With Skull Merchant, most of it comes down to just thinking. I'm just thinking. I'm not having to aim anything. Yeah, I'm having to aim, like, the scan lines, but most of that is just recognizing which direction they're going, not, like, where they actually are, you know? I don't know. It's definitely a different experience. But, before we do start, so, we did a reaction yesterday. We did a reaction yesterday to Excel. I really had a lot of fun with it. So we're doing another reaction today, also to Excel. The reason for that is because this video is about Riot Games nerfing characters with really low win rates. 40% win rate champions getting nerfed and things like that. And I think it not only applies to DBD, but it applies to, like, a lot of games. But I think for DBD in particular, this is definitely something that people question all the time. Is like, why don't Blight and Nurse get nerfed, but fucking, I don't know, Clown gets nerfed or something? It's happened before. Varys, I don't think it's that simple. You really can't do that all the time, especially if they keep leaving the loop. You have to pre-place the drones a lot and then manage the scan lines, manage your haste, manage their hinder. I think there's definitely more to it than just place drone and loop. But for those watching on the YouTube side, same person we reacted to last time, Excel, again, amazing content creator. They don't really make stuff anymore, but a lot of their stuff is very evergreen, and it really does go into the idea of, like, general game design stuff, using League of Legends as kind of the backbone of the conversation. So, yeah.
Designing and balancing games can be incredibly hard. We all understand that. But there's this interesting problem that games today might have to account for that they didn't necessarily have to think about over a decade ago, which is competition. It's no secret that esports, in regard to proper organized play with salaries, franchises, and facilities, gets bigger all.
So I probably shouldn't have to mention this. Dead by Daylight, well, it has a competitive scene. It doesn't really have an esports scene, so this is probably irrelevant to the conversation, but it matters.
The time. Esports without a doubt will be the future of global competition because it's already on that path, but with organized top-tier play being vital and important in this industry, it's also not the only way that games have become more competitive, with many titles using some sort of competitive ranking system in their PvP game modes. While a big reason that PvP has become more popular is due to stronger internet connections, it's also because it's very interesting to test your skills by proving you're better than other people in the game. It makes every match a more unique experience, and it's a lot different to try and cheese players and exploit them the same way that you can a game's AI. Now, this does not mean that PvE is bad.
So I do have to mention that point there, because I know there's a lot of people who talk about Dead by Daylight should maybe like try to find a way to make it PvE. But anyone who's played against bots in Dead by Daylight, or really any game that like kind of works that way, PvE can be fun if the mechanics around the game are designed for it. I think like Doom Eternal is a very good example. Most of the Doom games, those are all PvE. Most of the PvP in that game sucks. Sorry to my battle mode enjoyers, but it does. But when you're playing a competitive game, the thrill of it is supposed to be playing against your opponents. Now, I know someone's going to retort this for Dead by Daylight and be like, oh, well, you're playing against perks, not players. He's going to kind of get into that too.
Or anything like that. In fact, some of my favorite games of all time are either PvE based or single player. I've enjoyed the absolute crap out of Valheim with my friends over the last month, and I was addicted to it for about a week. It was like the only thing that I wanted to do. But that being said, PvE experiences can sometimes be tied to another word: casual. Though there are definitely hardcore and competitive PvE experiences, when you're not constantly putting your skills up to the test against other players, it's a lot easier to take the game a bit more casually. Very different from saying, wow, the AI is strong, knowing that another human being is better than you and can beat you with their skills and knowledge of the game lights a fire under all of us to get better. One of the biggest side effects of these games, however, is how in the world do you make it fair for everyone? How can you ensure that everyone has a fun experience?
And this right here, the statement just said, how do you make sure it's fair and fun for everyone, is the struggle that every developer goes through, and Dead by Daylight is, one, no different, but also extremely different, because you're trying to balance the fun of 4 individuals versus a singular entity, which makes it so much harder. Because it adds, again, I've said this so many times with Dead by Daylight, where it's like, do we balance the game around the assumption that the 4 people are in a team, on a squad, right? Or do we balance it around the idea that those people are, sorry, I'm resizing this. Those people are individually linked. Like, there's so many issues with trying to balance Dead by Daylight because of this. And that also goes into the idea of what even balanced even means, but that's a completely different thing.
Where do you draw the line when you nerf and buff things because of esports and the competitive scene when 99.9% of all players are not pros? How can so many people
Whoa, dude, that guy looks like a pro. Look at him.
Scene when 99.
I can't. My favorite thing about this image. My favorite thing about this image has to be that he put the pizza, that like, he cooked that on the cardboard. I do that shit, but he cooked it on the cardboard. You can tell because it's got the cut marks. That's great.
9% of all players are not pros. How can so many people despise a system like what we have in League of Legends, yet plenty of others say it's just fine? Let's do a deep dive into what makes pro play both good and bad for the average player.
So, like I said, to preface this a bit, Dead by Daylight doesn't have a pro scene. I mean, it does, but it's not really. Dead by Daylight's pro scene is weird because it's technically official, but it technically isn't. But I'm using this more as a catalyst to talk about the idea of top-down balancing around the best players or people who were good at the game. That's a weak amount of Mountain Dew. Bro, that was like 10 kidney stones worth of Mountain Dew. I'm sorry. Also, why would you buy a 2-liter if you have 12 packs? I'm just saying, that seems like a waste. But like, it's this idea of top-down balancing that everyone says they want. But again, the problem with it is while it should trickle down, it usually doesn't always do that, and it has issues because of that. And then there's bottom-up balancing, which is less discussed, which I think is what Dead by Daylight tries to do. And then we end up in the situation where we do now, where a lot of things that aren't that good for like the quote unquote casual player are really good for the really good players. And it's like it's a give and take. There, one of them isn't necessarily better than the other to balance a game. They just both have their strengths and weaknesses.
Browsers are something that we all use every day,
I'll
but
let the ad
rarely
play.
change. However, today I want to tell you why you should use my sponsor, Opera GX. Opera GX is the world's first dedicated gaming browser with tons of helpful features, most notably the GX Player. This is your easy access music hub where you can use any of the 3 big music platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, and YouTube Music. You also get direct control over your computer's resources, including CPU, RAM, and bandwidth limiters. It empowers you with seamlessly integrated applications like Twitch, Discord, and other social media platforms. This is easy access to all of your favorite streamers and allows you to stay in touch with your friends. In addition, you're protected with GX's free built-in VPN and ad blocker services. Personalization is robust and easy on the eyes. It uses a comfortable dark color scheme that can also be changed. If you like animated wallpapers, you can have those too. This will absolutely be your new favorite browser. Check the link in the description down below to download it, and thank you once more to Opera for sponsoring.
All right, thank you, Axel. Get your
I wanted
bag.
to do this video a little different. I plan it to be a very open-ended discussion. I will still give my take in the final 2 sections and compile all of my thoughts from the research and the feelings that I have, but I will hopefully present both sides in a fair way and try to give you...
Again, these 2 questions are the crux of the issue with balance. It always will be. Balancing around the pros, balancing around most people. 80-20 rule. Who do you balance for? And before someone says both, I swear to God.
some tools to answer the question yourself. I don't intend to tell you a solution to the problem, because if there was such a simple solution, then I wouldn't be making this video. I want to provide as much information as I can, that way you can let me know in the comments down below what you think. Alright, so where do we start? It's such a multi-layered issue that I guess the only approach is to peel the onion one at a time and start with the actual pro players. I've seen quite a few people say that pro play and solo queue aren't really that different. It's mostly just a skill difference because challenger players are better than gold players. Now, this is obviously true. Pros will be the best players on the planet in any given game, but if you think that pro play, the organized professional scene, is not that different from solo queue and League of Legends, and they're not entirely different games that work on different rules, let's try to break this down for a sec. In pro play, you have a team of 5 players who are as good as you can possibly be in the game. These players know each other, even sometimes live together, they practice together, scrimmage together. The org will have coaches, analysts, and team meetings about strategy. They'll know their teammates' strengths, weaknesses, preferences, playstyle, champion pool. It's possible that they'll have a world-class facility like Team Liquid's Alienware building.
So that whole like knowing people thing is an aspect of like swifting that I think people tend to forget. Because it doesn't matter how much you bring solo queue up to Swift, because at the end of the day, you're still getting random people to try to work together. If I'm playing with a group of friends and I know one of them is not that good in chase, or they have a generator build, or they can see or hear better than me, they can like detect perks better than me. Like a lot of these little things help me know what's going to happen. Or even like little things like, for example, whenever I play Survivor, I usually don't drop pallets until I'm on Death Hook. Because I think it's a waste usually to do it beforehand, unless I know my teammates are like cranking gens out. But you know, then there's pre-drop Andy over there who's just going to keep dropping every single one. If I'm on a team with him and I know them, then I know, hey, they were in this area. All those pallets are gone. I know for a fact they are because I played with him before and he drops pallets all the time. Meanwhile, if he plays with me, he knows that I don't drop pallets, so going to that area is fine. On top of the fact that I can just tell him, but also because of our ability to like know each other and our past history of playing with each other.
Personally been there, and it's really awesome. They will design strategies around each player's skill set. They are paid to win, which is very important as well. And when they do play on stage, they have no ping or lag, and they can communicate through voice comms with their teammates. They go through a pick and ban process that involves a snake-style draft against another team who does all of those things too. In solo queue, however, you queue up at 2 a.m. after not playing for 7 months. You find a team full of random people where someone bans your champion you highlighted, somebody first time's a champion. People rage, flame, feed in grief. They have FPS lags or ping spikes. The ranking system uses this algorithm to determine who plays against who, which sometimes means that an autofill jungler is against the Smurf Kha'Zix one trick, or even ironically, people are calling you bad considering that all 10 players in the exact same elo with the exact same win rate are in this game. Oh, and of course, there are no voice comms. Solo queue and pro play may share the same name, League of Legends, but they are nothing alike. And it's more than just the skill difference. I would actually argue that something like Clash, if it's 5 challenger players against 5 other challenger players, or even Twitch rivals, if all 10 players are challenger and have practicing together for a week or so, I think that's significantly closer to being like pro play than challenger solo queue is. When you play 10 games a day of solo queue by yourself all alone just trying to get diamond, it's barely the same game as the World Championship, yet we play on the same version of the game as the pros do. Riot has decided that the best approach is to change things every 2 weeks, according to where it's strong at that point in time.
So again, this is a weird thing with DBD in its case with the competitive DBD scene, is that like a lot of people say like Shoulder the Burden is really overpowered. Now, the thing with balancing Shoulder the Burden is that we can't even determine what to change about it based on the competitive players because they outright banned the perk. They banned sabotaging. Like, how do we even begin to understand how the best players are using it if they don't even use it because they're not allowed to? So like it kind of falls back on that a little bit.
If something is strong in pro play, it will be nerfed down. And if something is strong in solo queue, and especially low elo solo queue, it's still possible to be nerfed on that very same patch. In the patch highlights, they note the reason why a certain champion was nerfed. Naturally, some people like this and argue that Riot is currently doing the right thing, and others will quote and say that's the reason they quit the game. So, who's right? Well, nobody really, since there are downsides to both balancing around pro and balancing around everyone else, but let's run through both the approaches now and give some examples of their pros and cons.
League of Merchants.
By far the biggest issue that comes from balancing around the competitive scene is that when strong champions are played at the comp level, they have to be nerfed for us too. A good example is Kalista. After she got released, for basically an entire year, she was pick or ban in the pro scene. They could never buff her because challenger players would abuse her to extreme levels. She was really good in organized play because the Rend could secure Baron and Dragon. Her strengths with a coordinated support that you trusted and had synergy with was just completely unmatched in the bottom lane. She would end up being nerfed like a dozen times, and ever since then, she's never been able to recover in solo queue. She is rarely, if ever, a good pick, and never has a win rate above 50%. On top of that, she's way too hard to play for the reward that your average solo queue player is looking for. It's not worth learning her. But that's a very important distinction.
So a good example of this, or a good contrast of this to Dead by Daylight would be Singularity. Singularity is a really good killer. And ironically, they buffed him for the opposite reasons of this. And it still didn't really do the job. It just made the people who are already good with him way fucking better with him. But again, it leads into a question of like designing around perfection and how that affects the rest of the player base that can't hit that perfection level. Like, and again, there's no easy answer to what you're supposed to do. Do you nerf them down because the people who are good with them are menaces? Or do you buff them up because the people who can barely play them can't even secure like a kill, you know?
Champion difficult. The players understand that champions like Akali may never have a good win rate because she's just so hard to learn. If you remember when she was the best champion in the game, her absolute peak of pro play dominance and challenger solo queue nightmares, she didn't have above a 50% win rate on average. The champion was broken, but the average silver to platinum player would still need practice on her. In that situation, it's fairly understandable that Riot would not be buffing Akali just because lower elo players who weren't practiced on the champion couldn't give her a good win rate. Balancing around the highest levels of champion prowess makes way more sense, because if people can't pilot clearly overtuned champions just because they're hard, well, that's user error, not champion error. It's pretty rare that anything will balance around user error. Competitive gaming, life, school, doesn't really matter. Making the test easier just because you failed doesn't make you smarter or more knowledgeable on that subject. Only studying and learning will.
Well, he says that, but nah, schools have definitely done that. What's your favorite? My favorite goon? What the fuck do you mean? My favorite goon? I don't even know what that means. But no, I think like, cause this video, how old is this video? 5 years old. I definitely think like a few years ago, this was definitely the mentality. But I think a lot of games have shifted away from this because of how hard player onboarding is and how many more casual players there are in a lot more games nowadays. So I think it's a give and take. Again, you can't just ignore the people who just kind of suck at your game. I don't know what you mean, Furries. I have no idea.
The test easier just increases your grade. For the 7 years that I've played League of Legends, I've always held this opinion, and I knew that Riot would nerf hard champions that are overpowered when mastered, even if their win rate wasn't that good. And I was okay with that. However, something just recently caught my attention. Lilia is a unique champion. Up until recently, she was the only champ in the entire game never to receive a balance change. After being out for 9 months, she had avoided the patch notes. In pro play though, she has been strong since the day that she came out. This season, she's held around a 60% presence in pro, which is extremely high. She's been a top tier jungle pick along with champions like Hecarim, Udyr, Talia, and Graves for competitive this season. But as you probably guessed, her win rate in solo queue is abysmal at best. It's crazy how often this really happens in League of Legends. It almost feels like it's a requirement for good pro play champions to have a terrible win rate in solo queue. A top tier professional jungler with the dead last worst win rate in jungle. And as the story goes, on the most recent patch, Lilia, even with the worst win rate in her position, got nerfed. And we've seen this happen to many champions like Azir, Ryze, Nidalee, and Tahm Kench. The champions just feel like they're not allowed to be good for the average player. But here's the thing. Did this nerf happen because Lilia is hard to play? What if we compared Lilia to another AP jungler that's seen in pro play that's known for hard farming?
Like, that again, it brings to the question: if a character is hard to play and they have a really low win rate, but they are very strong when you're good with them, do you buff them? Do you buff them? Because if their win rate is low and they're really hard to play, like they're not mutually exclusive. But if a character is really hard to play, and no one's winning with them because they're hard to play, except for the people who take the time to master them, and they're dominating, what do you do? Because statistically speaking, the character is terrible. And you can't just bounce around statistics, but they do matter. Spider-Man, cough, cough. Have I been dealing with the hot weather? Staying inside in the AC?
Nidalee. Clearly, Nidalee is one of the hardest champions in the game. There's so much that goes into playing her at a top level that you'd be better off trying anything else for success. There's a reason that for over the last couple years, a win rate below 50% is pretty common. Ever since they reworked her into the jungle and out of the solo lanes, decreased the width on her spear hitbox, and moved her towards a hard farming pro jungler style, the average player just can't get the hang of her. Lilia is not super easy herself. Using the champion's full power involves a lot of game knowledge. Her strengths as a hard farmer and counter jungler just like Nidalee requires an understanding of jungle pathing. It's not as simple as going buff to buff and ganking level 2 as Rammus. The early game Rammus point and click ganks are easy enough for anyone to understand and master, but Lilia is different. First off, you have to learn to prioritize the Raptor camp because of how much healing that you'll get back. You also need to learn to kill Gromp and Blue Buff at the same time to maximize efficiency. While sometimes risky, your absolute best path is usually an invade to the enemy Raptors and start their camps at level 1. Because of your fast clearing, you have a good chance to 3-buff the enemy jungler. You don't have any CC for the Scuttle Crab, so you need to make sure you have enough time to take it and you won't get blown up. Maximizing your passive movement speed while you fly through the jungle will ensure that you can keep up the hard farming pace. It's essential that you hit enemies with your outer circle because the true damage is the only thing that keeps your damage early game competitive with other champions. You have to learn to kite and sort of orb walk around your enemies using your movement speed to make sure that you can keep hitting the enemy and they can't hit you. The champion will take a little bit of time invested to fully realize her potential.
I would like to mention, as someone who knows what he was talking about, even I got fucking lost. Even I got lost trying to understand all of this. In short, there's a lot of thinking that goes into playing her correctly.
But she's still not as hard as Nidalee or Azir. It feels like challenger players have no problem abusing Lilia and finding great success with her, so you would expect that her win rate would increase with elo. But here's the biggest thing that shocked me. Mapping out Lilia's win rate per elo over the last couple of months paints a different picture than I originally thought. The champion did not go through any balance changes, yet her win rate does not increase in higher tier play. All ranks has the biggest sample size, and while it technically includes challenger level games in that data, it's so heavily skewed towards lower elo, it's basically like saying silver to platinum data. As I've covered before, just 3 ranks in this game, bronze, silver, and gold, cover 86% of all players. If you throw in iron and plat, you now have 98% of all players. Diamond through challenger games isn't even 2% of the player base. It's astonishing how flat this curve is. In some cases, the higher elo games didn't even have a higher win rate than the lower ranked
Say
ones.
that again.
A fair question that you might have is, why did I not include challenger only games which you can sort by on u.gg? The biggest reason that I didn't is that challenger data is such a small sample size that variance is bound to happen. For example, Lilia didn't even have 2,000 games played in challenger on the previous patch, but in case you were wondering, her win rate was still 48%. After looking through this, I knew that I needed to make one for Nidalee so I can compare them. My suspicion is that Nidalee would have a more pronounced curve, and sure enough, she does. There is a clear increase for Nidalee as you go up in elo. It doesn't jump up to 55 or 60% or something like that, but on patch 11.5, the difference between her all ranks win rate and her master plus win rate was 4%, but on the very same patch, Lilia's would only increase by less than 1% to the same jump. It feels like the Lilia nerf is not happening because she is super hard to master and is a broken champion for climbing solo queue after you have 500 games on her like Nidalee. The Lilia nerf is happening because pro play and solo queue are literally different games. When champions are strong in professional play, solo queue players end up being punished. The pro style of play where junglers are farming.
Here's a weird question, because I can't really think of this. Is there a killer that is really good in competitive Dead by Daylight that is terrible in normal public matches? I'm trying to think off the top of my head if there is one. Is there an equivalent to that? Because I don't think there is. They're pretty the killer strength is pretty stagnant on both sides. The difference is that in the competitive scene for DBD, they have map pools for each killer. So that definitely helps. Ghostface getting Leeries, but like, is there a case of a killer that is just really bad in general public play, but is really good in competitive? Because I don't think there really realistically is. I think the closest we have is like maybe Nurse. Maybe? Because, I mean, her win rate and kill rate is really low. You gave him a koala costume? Why would you do that? Why? I have not seen Obsession, no. I haven't been to the movies in a while. I watched Amazing Digital Circus in theaters, and that was the last time I went to the movies.
More and gank a little less because of better vision control, smarter communication, is just way better for Lilia. They play around jungle.
Deathslinger, yeah, okay. Yeah, Deathslingers I think is a good example. I know the opposite definitely exists. There's killers that are good in public matches and terrible in competitive DBD. Um, I think a good example would be something like Plague. Not that she's terrible in competitive DBD, but she is much better in public matches because people tend to make more mistakes.
Pathing a lot better, and invades are far more coordinated and strategic. When you can talk to your mid laner, when you can talk to your bottom laner, when people buy control wards, you can make much better use of the fact that she has the best jungle clear in the game. Lilia is like the complete opposite of a pub-stomping spam ganker like Shaco, who thrives in the chaos of solo queue and lack of coordination. Lilia just gets better with coordination. Obviously, this sucks for our dear friend, and it doesn't feel like there's anything Lilia mains and Lilia players could have done to prevent this. But now let's talk about why Riot might not have a choice. There have been extremely popular games in the past that have had their pro scene change the rules of the typical game that you and I would play. So if we were in our public matches playing Team Deathmatch, Search and Destroy, or Team Slayer, we wouldn't see the same thing as the pro players. Some of the better examples are Call of Duty with Call of Duty League restrictions as well as COD 4 Pro mod, and Halo with MLG variants and game battle rules.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, Halo back in the day had MLG specific rules that were not anywhere near the normal rules of the game. I forgot about that.
Worse, a lot of the leagues would go by these sort of gentlemen's agreements or unwritten rules where they didn't want people to abuse something that existed in the game. And
Oh my god.
rules. To make matters a little worse, a lot of the leagues would go
In a gentleman's agreement, I want to start by thanking Fox TK as he made a video on this topic in AW, and me and my friends had been talking about it, so it kind of added up well. Basically, if any of you follow all three leagues, you will notice that some leagues are caught banning things while others never do. And when the things don't get banned, you still don't see them. For example, C4 is often banned in Australia from what I've seen, and it's not in NA, but no one ever uses C4 in NA. Why is it? I need to go back in time and I forgot people did this. It's like in Halo. I remember this now. Yeah, in Halo Reach and Halo 4, in Halo Reach there was the gentleman's agreement that no one used armor lock. If you used armor lock, you would be banned from some lobbies. And in Halo 4, it was hologram. If you use hologram, you would be banned from some lobbies. And a lot of people would instant leave your lobbies because you were using hologram. I forgot about this. I grew up in this. Why don't I remember this? It was just so ingrained in my mind.
by these sort of gentlemen's agreements or unwritten rules where they didn't want people to abuse something that existed in the game. In Call of Duty 4, the grenade spam by taking frag times 3 for your first perk was easily the best choice in the game. Everyone knew that, including casual players, yet if it was your first time watching the esport, a big question you might have is, why in the world are none of these pros taking it? Later on, you'd find out that at certain tournaments, players either agreed to outright ban it or promised to not take it. In the early days of Halo and MLG, the variant usually had a set of rules like everybody starts with the battle rifle, there's no secondary weapon, weapon spawns were halved, no radar, stuff like that. Call of Duty League has to be the most extreme offender of this I've ever seen. Look at how many restrictions there are.
My man, this is fucking... My man, I like the list for Dead by Daylight restrictions and competitive is like a fucking Bible.
Many changes to the base game that they've made. You can only use like 30% of the game's content. Pros will use the same weapons all the time, not because they're necessarily overpowered, but because the list of weapons and items they're allowed to use has been restricted by that much.
This weapon, the Rampart, pretty much gave Luminosity a championship, gave them the win at CWL Fort Worth. In terms of respawn, Classic of LG went from a 0.82 without it to a 1.17 with it, which equals out to a 0.35 difference. When LG needed an X Factor, because Formal clearly wasn't having the best event of his life, neither was John, and when Classic had that Rampart in his hands, when he went from, like I said, what was it, a 0.82 to a 1.17, That's what did it. But whenever we all saw this, whenever we were all witnessing the grand finals and watching LG perform throughout the winners bracket at Fort Worth, the players sought out and said, all right, we need this weapon taken out. We've seen enough. We already know it needs to be taken out of the game. It is far too powerful for our liking. And for Luminosity to respond the way that they did, who wouldn't, right? Who wouldn't look at this current system and say, why would we want to get rid of a weapon that just helped us win an event? And you know what? They shouldn't have to.
I think we can all agree that
If you change the wording just a bit, just a bit on that. Oh my god. Why wouldn't I tunnel if it means I can win? Why wouldn't I bring brand new parts if it helps my chances of winning the match? It's the reason I won. Yeah, but why wouldn't I bring it?
It's pretty lame. Overpowered or not, in the name of balance or not, there should never be that many restrictions to a game's competitive scene. What's the point of removing half of the game's content in the name of balance, when watching the best players use overpowered things might actually be pretty fun and interesting? Or what if somebody comes up with a counter strategy to things that are deemed overpowered? How can pros get creative, experiment, or even break the meta when the meta has been predetermined for them? The weird thing is that many of these restrictions would come at the request of the pro players themselves. They would complain and cry that certain things weren't that fun to play against, and many of the leagues would come together to ban them. I can definitely sympathize a little bit with the pro players here, because if something is flat out broken and unfun and unfair to play against, you may not want your entire competitive career and your job and we as casual players have to deal with it.
Whoa, did I go offline? What the fuck? What just happened? That was weird. Hi, chat.
We play with it every day and we see it, then the pros should honestly have to as well. Imagine if League of Legends professional players could just remove champions because they are unhealthy. Which, by the way, brings me to Viego. If you've been watching Pro League of Legends ever since Viego's release early on this season, you might be wondering why he hasn't shown up in Pick and Ban yet. He's clearly a good champion, challenger players have abused him for free LP, the champion is good. But Viego has been restricted from pro play ever since his release, and until further notice, he will not be seen. This feels so bad for a solo queue player like myself. If a champion is actually that buggy, that unhealthy, and prone to game-breaking issues that it has to be banned from pro play for more than 2 to 3 months at this point, well, that champion should have never been released, number one. That's the first thing. But I also believe that he should not be allowed in solo queue either. If he's so buggy that Riot does not trust that he won't break the game for pro players, why in the world is he enabled in ranked?
A thing that is so buggy it breaks the game and isn't removed for the general public, but in the competitive scene that they make sure that no one can use it because of its bugginess. Never heard of that one. The sad reality is the answer is money. It's genuinely Viego's a weird situation too, because Riot was building this character up for like a year towards his release date. And also timelines, stockholders, there's a lot of reasons why they probably couldn't remove him from the base game, but from competitive, especially since they have a lot more leeway with what is allowed and isn't allowed in their competitive scene. But yeah.
Viego is the newest champion in League of Legends as of this recording, and already Vanderil has made more videos about his bugs than any other champion in the game. He's by far the buggiest champ we've ever seen, and we all have to play with him every day. If League Pro players played on a different patch, that would make them stream less than they already do. If solo queue had different champion numbers, item changes, disabled champions, they wouldn't really have a reason to play solo queue. That would ruin the marketing and stream of the pro player, as well as the teams, the orgs, all that kind of stuff. The consistency that is kept by having everyone play on the same patch allows the casual player to be able to relate to these pros. We get to see the game as we know it, with no special rules or restrictions. Now that we've outlined both sides of the problem and why Riot might have the answer already correct with what they're doing, yet clearly non-pros are suffering through no fault of their own like in the case of Lilia, where do we go from here? This specific issue in League of Legends is a little different than some other games. I think one thing Riot has to do is start to close the gap between how solo queue and pro are played. At least in the case of Call of Duty, public matches can be kinda competitive when you queue up with your friends. All of
Oh my god. We gotta close the gap between solo queue and Swift. That's what it says. Jesus Christ. It's the same game, man.
voice comms, you might strategize by giving each player a specific role, use a specific gun, a certain strategy. It can be really cool. But in League, solo queue is just that, a solo experience. We've been taught and bred to have this game be a 1v9 solo game, where your teammates are basically a part of the enemy team, and they've tried to make non-solo queue modes work. Right now, we technically have flex queue, but nobody takes it seriously. Clash is taken more seriously and can be a lot of fun, but it's not available 24/7 and has a significant barrier to entry where you kind of need 4 friends and a lot of time on your hands. In the past, Team Builder was another attempt to make teamwork and role queue a lot better, but it had the longest queue times in history. I remember waiting easily 15 to 20 minutes minimum to get into Team Builder matches, and that's us even accepting a Draven support because at this point, who cares, just queue up and start the game. So how come all of these things haven't become the new norm and solo queue hasn't faded out of popularity? Well, in none of the competitive games has solo queue ever gone away completely. The fact that you can queue up at 3 AM by yourself and get into a match works well for everybody. The low barrier to entry where you don't need friends or hours and hours of time on a Saturday night like Clash makes it easy to hop in and go. Completely irrelevant of your schedule, you can play solo queue at any hour of the day, whether you work at night, whether you work in the morning, you have school, you don't have school, you can just get in and go. Solo queue will always have a place in these games, which is why it badly needs a couple of upgrades. First up is voice comms. I'm sorry to say it, but it's just time.
War never changes, man. War never changes. God. Chat, honestly speaking, does Dead by Daylight need voice comms? I'm not asking if it's a good idea or a bad idea. I'm not asking if it would be more toxic or less toxic. Does it need voice comms? Does it? Because honestly, I don't think there's any way to bridge the gap of Swift and solo queue without voice comms. I don't think it's possible. And I think the bigger problem with it is that now you have to balance the game around the fact that everyone can talk. Because certain perks become either useless or too strong with voice comms. And now that everyone's kind of on the same playing field. Verhees, but why not? That would be my question. Why not in solo queue? Other than the toxicity, what is your reason for no? That would be my question. Because if the only reason we don't want to do it is because of toxicness, I don't think that's a good enough reason. And yes, exactly, you can just mute everybody if you want to. If you really don't want to interact with the voice comms, just auto-mute when you go into a match. I think it's time, man. I really do. League of Legends still doesn't have voice comms to this day, and it's one of the most highly requested features. And personally, this is anecdotal, but like most of the times in competitive settings with voice comms, I generally think toxicity actually goes down because you're not talking to a faceless person. Now you actually have a voice to associate with it. At least that's just me. But I get it. It can lead to some toxicity and some other issues, but I think the good outweighs the bad, man. I genuinely do. And I think because of that gap between solo queue and Swift, that will never, ever, ever, ever be closed. It's never going to be closed. We have to find ways to make it better. And a comm wheel could be a start, but I genuinely think voice comms is what we need to do. We need it. Solo queue will never be as good as Swift or even close to it without the ability to communicate with your teammates in a way that isn't just pointing and saying, come here. And hell, if it's anything like the current solo queue changes they recently did, it's not even really going to do much if I'm like... You know how many times I forget that I can see my teammates' perks in solo queue? All the time. All the fucking time. But you can do it now. Just remember that. You can do that now.
If you think that people will be extra toxic on voice comms, you may be right, but the mute button deletes that instantly from happening. This game needs communication. In the last few months, I've put in over 100 hours into an FPS called Squad, and the teamwork on that game is one of the most enjoyable experiences I've ever had in gaming. Everybody has a mic, works together, barely anybody is super toxic. It feels like a competitive environment, and the game doesn't even have ranked matches or ranked queues. It's just that fun to use teamwork.
Yeah, this game it's addicting, bro. It's so easy.
It's pretty fun.
It's so easy to play, I guess. I love how this server always has just the same players. It makes it feel like a, I don't know, like a community. Community, yeah, like a community. It's cool.
They're right behind you, Mike. They're right behind you in the rock formation we were on.
Yeah, I got one.
Right on your
Yo, we're coming in with big boys.
Sync, are you down? Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, they're at the rock formation that we were just at. It's just
Alright, tag 2. That's retro dig. Go fix things up. Copy.
The second major upgrade are rewards. Riot has put in some incentives with these rank splits, but they straight
Okay, this really doesn't apply too much to Dead by Daylight. I will say rewarding people for not being toxic would be a start, but yeah.
up suck. Most people don't even pay attention to them. If I asked you right now, what do rank splits do? What are the rewards and how do they work? Would you even know off the top of your head? Riot needs to swallow some of their profits and let people get free skins. If you hit a higher rank than you ended last season, you should be able to pick one free skin for the champion that you played most in rank that year. If you already own all the skins on that champion, you should be given $10 to $15 worth of RP. $10 worth of RP to keep someone engaged in your game for a whole nother year will more than pay for itself, Riot. We need rewards that we actually want, not Hextech RNG crafting. Something people need to understand is that if the rewards are really good, toxic players would be missing out on getting a free skin, so they might think twice before they type. Nobody really cares that much about missing out on Hextech crafting, but if a gold Kayn main who can't afford Odyssey Kayn and has always wanted it is trying to reach plat so he can get a...
I'm going to say the most insane thing about comms, let the killer and survivors communicate with each other in the match. I've thought about that. I think letting them type to each other would be fine. I think voice comms with the enemy would be a bit much. Because there is usually nothing you need to say to your opponent that isn't just something terrible. Most of the time, especially during a match. I have always kind of been against that part. But that's just me. I'm not saying it couldn't work. I'm not saying I wouldn't want to try it, but it's just me.
free skin. This season, he might turn off that enter key just to focus on playing the game like he should be doing anyway. The third thing we need is more punishments for bad behavior, and I do have to give credit where it's due. This season, Riot implemented some loss mitigations for AFKs, they let you surrender early, they punish people faster with Lever Buster, and has made rank this season slightly less annoying. This isn't just filler steps, these are genuinely good things in the right direction, but they need to increase the penalties for AFKs, make us lose even less LP if somebody leaves the game, and reporting in Champion Select needs to feel like it matters and does something. And the fourth and final step is to remove autofill. For some reason, I feel like nobody wants to address the real root issue with autofill. The problem with autofill and why it has to exist is for long queue times, but long queue times come from the fact that nobody wants to have a bad solo queue experience. If ranked was more enjoyable to play, with voice comms, rewards, punishments, more players overall would play it, thus reducing the necessity of autofill. The final thing that I want to talk about is the pro meta itself. I'll admit that I'm not the most knowledgeable when it comes to competitive play. I'm not a former pro like Nemesis or Kadrill. I don't do VOD review on pros like Dom or LS. Those guys are super smart and know far more than I do, but I do still have some questions. It's true that Lilia should have been looked at because of her 60% presence in pro play, but my question is, why does any champion have a 60% or higher presence? A champion being picked in 60% of all pro games is kinda crazy, yet that's not even the highest. This season, Kai'Sa has an 84% presence, which means that in 84% of all
And y'all thought Kin was 84% of your matches have this character in it.
champion
That's
selects, the teams decided we cannot let Kai'Sa either not be picked or banned. In some cases, champions might have had a higher presence than they probably should have if they were good in multiple roles. A flex pick like Sylas or Akali in previous metas saw tons of play because Sylas was viable in 3 roles and Akali was viable in 2 roles. But that is not the case for Kai'Sa, as she's only an 80 carry, which is insane to think that she's not only that much better than the rest of the game as a whole, but that much better than every other champion in her own role. Surely a pro 80 carry could list off some matchups that Kai'Sa has that aren't very favorable. I think I've heard Ezreal and Aphelios can do well into her, so how come they're not played more often? If other 80 carries are so below Kai'Sa's level that she can't even be directly counterpicked anymore, isn't that a huge problem? If Kai'Sa is so overtuned that all possible counterpicks are subsided, why in the world is it taking so long to nerf her accordingly? It's fine that there will be strong champions in the meta, and this season Kai'Sa has been the strongest champion in the game at the pro level, but I would still hope to see her presence around 50%, maybe 55%, not 84%. Isn't it a massive problem that there seems to be so few situations in which you can have a counter strategy into one champion pick? This brings us back to the actual nerf.
Isn't it a little ridiculous that there's a character so strong that the only thing that counters it is the most powerful stuff, so you have to bring that even against the weaker stuff?
That Lilia received, even if the goal was to nerf Lilia because of her pro play presence, which I do agree with and is understandable. Why is the nerf that she ended up getting just a straight ultimate cooldown nerf? Shouldn't the approach from Riot be to try and buff something that would help her out in solo queue where her win rate is dead last in the jungle position, and then nerf her accordingly for pro play? Why not buff some damage but only to champions in compensation for these ultimate CDR nerfs? It could give her more carry potential inside of solo queue while also making sure she doesn't have an even faster jungle clear. They could nerf her ultimate CDR, which does decrease her utility for pro play, but if they couldn't figure out a good solution that would help her out inside of solo queue, then maybe she shouldn't be nerfed just yet. Maybe they should look to prioritize buffing her weak matchups. This video was not made to tell you that I found the solution. This should be a genuinely open-ended discussion where you guys can tell me what you think in the comments down below. I'm excited to see what you say, and I hope that as a community we can voice our concerns in a fair and constructive way. However, it's worth noting that no game has done this correctly, which is why there's no perfect solution to this problem, but rather a list of a few improvements that we could look to make. If you enjoyed this video, I thank you so much for making it all the way.
So, again, thanks to Excel for making that video 5 years ago for me to react to now in 2026. But, again, it comes down to a question with, like, balancing any game. And League is a hyper-competitive game. It's one that gets balance changes every 2 weeks. And it's still suffering from the same issues that not only Dead by Daylight is, but every video game on the planet is. That is Lilia. She's a centaur. But it brings into the question of, like, again, how do you address it? Do you balance around the best players? Do you balance around the average player? Do you balance around the low tiers? What determines if something is too good because the player is too good, or if the character themselves is too good? If the character is so bad that even the good people can't use it correctly, does that determine a buff? What if there's like 2 people on the planet who can use them amazingly? Then what do we do? What about perks like Sprint Burst? Sprint Burst on a good survivor is insane to go against. But on like your average, normal, everyday Joe who just got off work, it's really not that good of a perk for them. So what do you do? Do you nerf it? Well, now Joe Schmo can't use it. Like, at all. So, like, again, it comes down to that question. It's like, Nurse is a good example, right? She is overpowered. We all know this. She is really strong if the person piloting her is really good at Nurse. However, if my dumbass starts piloting Nurse, I will lose all the time. I don't think she's that hard or that difficult, but I am not good with Nurse. So, if they nerf her, that makes her even worse for me. It is stupid regardless of who uses it, but if a good player uses it, they will, like, dominate with it, versus a bad player using it who will maybe do okay with it, you know? Oh, did we archives? Oh, it's a pig head. Oh. Okay. Is this clown's bottle? Why did its ears move? I wish I could interact with this. Thank you. Vial of urine. It's clown's piss bottle. That's what it is. We got 2 more of these, by the way. They grow too interested in power mongering. They have lost sight of our greater goal, a goal of service. The plan was to remind them. Every year they ask for the same plate at the center of the banquet, and I prepared it the same every year. Whatever happened after that had nothing to do with me. Huh. Hey, we got more challenges. Hooray. Attack 12 poison survivors. Hook 30 survivors. Play 9 trials. Okay. I'm literally only doing these, by the way, just so I can get the skins. Also, we have a blood hunt starting tomorrow, by the way, chat. For those that didn't hear about that. So double blood points all weekend, I think it is. Hooray. Like, again, it's just, like, it's such a hard thing to, like, do properly. Like, and I wish there was a good answer. It's like, no, always balance around the pros. Always balance around the average player. Always balance around the bad players. But there just isn't a proper answer. It's just case by case. And no matter who you ask, everyone is going to be biased on whatever they're, including myself. Everyone's going to be biased on their take of what needs to be buffed and nerfed, how and why. Every single human being on the planet who plays Dead by Daylight is going to be biased on what needs to be nerfed, how, and why. Even on Survivor. I was watching it over. I don't know if it was because I kicked it the moment it became unbreakable, and that's why I did it. I'm not 100% sure. A blood hunt on 4th of July weekend. Perfect timing. It's actually kind of funny. I don't know, man. Also, Chad, just so you know, the reaction stuff is not going to become a normal thing. At least not like every day. I just kind of wanted to do it because I was watching that video earlier today, and much like the last one, I feel like some of the points in it are relevant to Dead by Daylight. Talking about a lot of talking points we definitely bring up all the time. Blood hunt on 4th of July weekend. I knew it! Those damn Canadians. July 31st, 2025 will go down as Jim Beam Day. I don't know, man. Again, it's just like I don't know what the solution is. And I know someone was talking yesterday about like giving the community a patch or two where like they do it. Overwatch is doing that right now. They did a community patch. And it's fucking ridiculous. I think like Anna has like a jetpack or some shit. Like it's insane some of the stuff they did. I can't believe you could drop that. Ash is my obsession, which is fine. I can count to 6, fuckface. The poison. I can't believe he did that. God, survivors get really cocky with the fucking with the invulnerability, don't they? I would like not to go for Ash, but I wanted to throw my poison. See, she's not that bad, chat. Ash is still busted. Ash is still broken. New status effect busted, chat. I can't believe he's still fucking broken. Well, on the bright side, I should be getting this challenge done very quickly. Unbreakable Palace, the rest heal, that's fine. Pick this up. That one hasn't... Oh, wait. Am I the only one who feels like there should be a sound effect when they get hit with the claw trap more? It resets when they are scanned. Okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah, like I said, it's weird with Skull Merchant because I definitely like I'm definitely having to think more, for sure. Like, right here, like... I could probably double tap in here in a second. No. Like, I'm definitely having to think more than I did with Pyramid Head, but, like... Again, it's not mechanical, it's microplay, you know? I'm just thinking about which direction the scan lines are going. That's about it. I just saw somebody. I guess not. Some of the audio cues are cool and good. Like, I will 100% give them that. A lot of the audio cues are fine. Like, you getting the haste, them getting, like, initially scanned, but I feel like she does need one for when they get claw trapped. And I feel like it does still happen sometimes, you know? Also, Stabipple not really doing much for me this match because I keep finding Ash. Also, fun fact about the invulnerability thing, chat. Survivors, it doesn't affect... I thought maybe I saw blood. Oh, it's behind me. Nice job, Shane. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I was just trying to run the most basic thing I could. I really do need an obsession swap. There's also a couple of quality of life things I feel like she could use. Maybe have a drone counter. Maybe have a drone counter in the center of the screen. She does, like, when you get good with her, though, she really does feel smooth as hell. Oh, she's going around? Interesting play. I'm trying to think of what the best obsession swap I actually want to put her on this hook because of the drone there. And do I have any trash drones? So I can put up. I'm gonna do this one. Set one here. Hit you. No one's on radar. I'm gonna break this while I'm here. Furtive chase. The problem with furtive chase is that I would have to chase my obsession to get the swap to happen. Game of foot could be good, but I still have to, like, pre-monitor what I'm doing. Here's the thing, he's gonna get slowed anyways. probably could have hit him faster than what I'm doing now. Because I will get poisoned here in a second.
Hey! Oh!
Is it just shock palette? Because I just glitched out there again, too.
Yeah! Oh!
Well, Laura gets out. Did they bring a secret? They didn't. Oh, well. No, if she's on the other one, I'm fucked. Well, no, not necessarily, actually. Be great if I could see. I can barely see that, man. Is it weird that Skull Merchant kind of has better undetectability than Ghostface does a bit? If you time it right, as long as you have 2 drones placed, you can basically say... And that's not even counting her add-on that does it. I mean, you can hear me vigorously clicking the button. Actually, still gets out. Bye-bye, Laura. Oh, I didn't know you could put them near gates. I thought it was like the hooks where it just deletes them. I guess not, because it doesn't on generators. What does Ash have? Overcome. Oh, he had Overcome. Could you imagine? If he didn't have Overcome, I probably would have got the double tap earlier. Oh my god. No, man. One perk. Fuck. Also, are these ones milestones like the last one? They're not milestones like the last ones. Okay. Hook 30 survivors. Unhook 5 survivors. Alright. Paladin is just buggy as a whole. Pretty sure it has something to do with the fact pallets come back as fragile ones. Yeah, it definitely seems like it. I mean, yeah, like, what? Obsession? Friends to the end could work? It does swap my obsession if, or... I do like the build we have, though. I think it's still working. It's just, sometimes the Biffle doesn't get the most use it could. You know? All things considered, though, I really don't think I'm playing her all that bad. I'm sure, like, someone who's, like, very efficient with Skull Merchant probably looks at this gameplay and thinks I'm playing like shit, but I don't think I'm playing her all that bad. I'm kind of divvying up my blood points back and forth.
เคยเล่นในเทศกาลการ์ดไหม
I really have no reason not to be honest. I didn't say you were, Lynx. You're fine. The advice is fine. Again, it's just been nice. I really thought this character was going to be miserable, the way people talk about her, and she really hasn't been. There's definitely been some pain points, obviously, but for the most part, she's fine. Taeyong is a key! No! I swear if they bring a secret offer. They're gonna bring a secret offering. I don't know. The way people talk about her is the same way I hear people talk about Ghostface. And it's like, he's fine. He feels okay. Like, yeah, some matches are terrible. But, like, for the most part, he's okay. Like, it feels fine. I don't know. I don't know what to tell people. Again, unlike Springtrap and Pyramid Head, I actually kind of want to play her off stream, which is not something I could say about those two. And ironically, I think it's because I'm thinking so much. I do also wonder if it's because she's actually pretty decent in the fucking game mode, which is just really funny to me. Oh, this character is bad in 99% of matches, but she's actually pretty alright in the game mode. Hi, V. What's that? I wasn't sure if it hit or not. The answer was no. One of them had a flashlight. I'm gonna set that up on the table. The other table's in shack, which is perfect too. Set this up here. My man has sprint burst, that's fine. I like how he didn't go for the clear palette he should have gone for. I was gonna say Jeff lost his stack. Why is no one bringing decisive, man? Technically not even 7 hours. I've technically, like, because 5 of those hours were... A reminder that 5 of those hours were before streaming. I fucked that up so bad. I don't know why I did it the way I did. Yeah, now what, Jeff? Never mind, that was planned. I did that on purpose. Away. I can get rid of that drone there. I fucking Kobe'd the shit out of him there. Well, I don't have to go for you. I can just kill V real quick. You get broken, go for Jeff, I'm assuming. Get drone spotted, bro. Get fucking drone spotted. Not gonna lie, it's kind of cooler with Skull Merchant than any other killers because you have a PDA that does it for you. I have to start resetting. Speed difference, young. Speed difference. Get drone spotted, idiot. I was gonna call it skull spotting, but I think drone spotting works just fine. GG's. Oh, we said scan spot? Hmm. We'll workshop it, but I think drone spotting rolls up the tongue better, personally. Vigil, sprint, burst, inner focus, alert with a key. Jeff had dance with me! Oh, he had lucky star. That's why they actually went in the locker. Okay, and head on. Okay. Deception head on. That's interesting. Hyper focus stakeout on the V. So I went after the right one first. It's fucking funny. She's also, like... So I've said before I really enjoy playing Freddy, and part of the reason I really enjoy playing Freddy is because he's always doing something. He's either placing a pallet down, activating a dream pallet, using a snare, or teleporting. Like, he's always doing something. And I feel like Skull Merchant is also in that kind of mold, where she's always doing something. So I feel like that definitely is also helping me enjoy her a bit. You're always checking your drones, checking your PDA, checking claw trap marks. Yeah, I know it works on our Hinder. It doesn't work on the poison, though. Which is funny to think about because it means they can code it differently, by the way. That right there proves they can code it differently. They just choose not to. Ugh. I haven't really gotten a chance to like look at our other add-ons that much either, to be fair. 20% smaller skill checks, increases the time survivors appear on the radar by 1 second. Survivors at the claw trap suffer from blindness. Decreases the disabled state by 15%. I'd have to do math on that. Survivors at the claw trap get no skill check warning. Decreases drone rotation speed. We already know about low power mode. Increases the duration of the undetectable status effect by 20%. Increases the hindered status effect in the claw trap by 2%. Hammers and mangled for 70 seconds. Survivors of the claw trap suffer from exhausted status effect for 6 seconds. Removed, you see the aura. Survivors of the claw trap suffer from oblivious. Increases the duration of the hindered status effect by 1 second. Increases the drone's rotation speed. Whenever you deploy a drone for 8 seconds, your basic vault windows, basic break pallets, and breakable walls and damaging generators is 20% faster. When a survivor receives a claw trap or is revealed for 6 seconds, when a drone is disabled, it gains a 32-meter terror radius for 15 seconds, gaining a tactile status effect. All survivors start the trial with a claw trap. Claw trap batteries increases by 10% for each claw trap received, up to 150%. Okay. I mean, it depends. How long's the hinder on her thing again? It's like 5 seconds, isn't it? It's a 10. I'm pretty sure it's a 10% hinder for 5 seconds, right? I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. And actually, no. Making it longer would mean strobe or vigil affects it more because it's percentage based. So the higher you make the number, the more it does. At least proportionally, anyways. 50% of 100 is 50 is 50. 50% of 20 is 10, you know. They'll never see me coming, chat. Oh, pre-drop the shit out of this pallet. Hang on, do it. They already got it? Call me a contrarian. I think maybe survivors shouldn't start with the plates in their hands. I think that would be just step one for this event. Actually, I don't mind that drone because it covers the... Yeah, it covers that. Check this one up here. Yeah, that might have taken longer than I thought. I was hoping the drone would go inside the shack, but it didn't. Yeah, it just goes away anyways. I think those two intersecting is fine. That one on that side is. It's a 10% hinder for 6 seconds. Okay. Yeah, a lot of good that hinder did you there, huh? Leon gets hit, that's fine. 12% for 7 seconds. Why she has 2 add-ons that buff the hinder right on that. I mean, Clown has like 3. Like, I don't think that's a fair assessment. Clown has like 3. Where are they? I'm gonna put a trash drone here. Do this, and I'm gonna start walking back this way. Really? Where you going, Kate? If there's one thing that does suck in the mode, it's definitely shit like this. Because she's the obsession but got healed. And because she got healed... I was gonna say, I didn't know if anyone else had a flashlight. So they weren't using them before. I'm not gonna go for Kate. Because obsession, so... hits. I'm gonna do this. I was double checking if Leon was on it. This is gonna be a pretty even match, honestly. Again, I think the only one I don't really give a fuck about is going to be Leon. I think V was the only one with that flashlight she tried. It's gonna remove this one. I'm surprised she took that. Again, Kate's the one I don't give a shit about. You're on death hook. You might want to be a little bit more careful here. Neon's still behind me. Unless someone has a sabot, I think I get this. Not even close, and she almost got double tapped because of that. Take the undetectable, see where Kate went. She's over here somewhere. Leon's still doing a gen. See, this is a good example. These guys were really good. I think they were just trying to get morsels way too much. Actually, hi, Leon. Trash drone. Hi, Kate. Bye, Kate. G fucking G, dude. Did Kate have back? No, she didn't. She was just eating the morsels. The merchant guide? I mean, I might give it a look later. Still, though, again, I think all things considered, I'm really not doing that bad on her. Again, this is, a hard thing with DVD. Is it me not doing bad, or is it the survivors just not being good, right? It's always hard to, like, fully tell. But generally, like, it seems like I'm playing her just fine. Even with a very basic build, I feel like I'm doing just fine. Again, I don't want to get too, like, deep into the woods until a little later on. I think for the first couple weeks, just trying to figure the killer out on my own, I think is kind of something I want to try to do. Not without any input, of course, but, like, just in general, kind of figure it out on my own. What level is he now? 10 still? Okay. And I'm probably going to be playing a bunch this weekend just because of the blood hunt, so... Who knows? Wouldn't it be a shame if Skull Merchant's the one I finish in, like, 2 months? Wouldn't that be a fucking shame? For one, it proves that I can do it. For two, fucking Skull Merchant's the killer I do it with. Like, really? Skull Merchant? That's the killer you did it with? I mean, I'm Iridescent 1 already. I haven't been hitting Iridescent 1 at all in the past few months because I haven't been playing that much off stream. That's a fucking shame, dude. Also, the fact that the event matches are really long is also really helping this. For the most part. Also, I've been seeing more Shanes. I don't know what happened, but I feel like a lot of people all of a sudden finally bought him. I really don't know what happened. I'm glad for Shane. I hope he becomes a popular survivor, honestly. We need a popular male survivor that isn't fucking Alan Wake. Dwight or David. We need a new one. Kate, it's 4th of July, not St. Patrick's Day. Come on. You're American. You should know this. I am, like, genuinely a little bit curious, though. Like, because, again, I'm pretty confident that the rework isn't happening, but it's going to be a real fucking shame if it does. Of combining supercharge and batteries, but no cigar. Fair enough. See, that's what I'm here for, is the fucking math. That's what I'm here for. Good thing about hinder and haste, though, is that I can actually just visually see it because it tells you now. So I don't really have to do the math, except explaining why it's the number it is. I don't know, that Cold One match was a little short, but otherwise most of them are at least 10 minutes. It's been kind of nice. Here's a weird question, because I was doing this section of the Pyramid Head video today, Would you say that Skull Merchant is map dependent? Because she really doesn't feel it, you know? A shame. Like, nothing about her inherently seems like that map dependent. It's gonna happen the day after I post the 100 there. That'll be a fucking shame, wouldn't it? Oh, she's boiled over. That explains it, but... Shane, I think you fucked that up hard. I think you fucked that up real hard. I was making sure I got my stipple full stack. No more than any one killer, fair enough. It was just a curiosity. I was thinking maybe there was like... a map that like her drones don't do good on because of how the terrain is set up or something like that. He's really gonna do this, huh? Just kind of open to the double tap. Healed. I could have maybe gotten the double tap there if I planned it better. We are at our 8 stacks though, that's the important part. Most of my drones are over there. That one's trash. Sorry, Kate. Alright, you're boil over. It's a good thing I can visually see this one. Rick gets marked. How's Skull Merchant? She's been fine, honestly. I've been having a good time. genuinely, like, it hasn't been that bad at all. Just fucking with him at that point. Like, it hasn't been the best, hasn't been the worst. Like, I'm probably losing this match, but even then, like, who knows? Oh, I did not expect him to walk back into me like that, if I'm 100% honest. That was not on my bingo card. Elodie's going for Shane. I have to tunnel Shane out, like, right now. That was 15 seconds? Brother, 15 seconds is so fucking long, man. Let me see where Kate is, by the way. There's Rick. Kate's over there. No decisive, by the way. Still no decisive from anybody. Keep the claw mark on. Keep it on. Kate's over here. Hi, Kate. I kind of have this cool thing that lets me know exactly where you are. Yeah, like I said, really hasn't been that bad. Some close calls for sure, but like... And I have lost a couple matches. That's all I'm telling you guys, just... I do think the best way to win in Dead by Daylight right now isn't even necessarily to tunnel someone out. I think that is honestly the best strategy. But I think a better way to go about it is just ignore one survivor. Don't worry about them. They're not going to do nothing to you. You're fine. Hi, Elodie. Bye, Elodie. God damn, dude. I wouldn't say Small Merchant is quad trap. I have to do this. Hang on 1 second. Okay, they only have 200 hours. That's fine. I was about to lose my mind if they had like 5,000 hours. I wouldn't say Merchant is map dependent, but you do have to play her slightly differently. Leaning more into her stealth on indoor and more. Yeah, that's fair. No, they were just asking how I found them. How I found them, even though they didn't leave a trace. The Kate in the locker. Skull Motion, again, she's in this sad situation of she really can't be that good, because if she is, she's just really annoying to play against. She's still really annoying to play against, in my opinion, but that's neither here nor there. No, I can definitely see that. I remember playing her on RPD once, and I didn't even use the drones to scan. I was just using them for undetectable just to get around the map. She is, if I remember correctly, one of the quietest killers in the game, if not the quietest. Vecna floats, and even he, like, makes noises. Skull Merchant barely makes a fucking sound. I do have to play my Skully right now. I'm just gonna start putting some points in the V, just get some picks. Especially since I might play some Survivor over the weekends. How many picks do I have in the V now? 72? See, it's moments like this I wish I had DVD on console, because, like, I probably would play more DVD if I had it on console. Off stream, because I can just sit down and play. When I'm sitting on my computer playing, it kind of feels like work. I don't know. Seven-second queue, that's too fucking long, behavior. No, yeah, but Scrappinator, if you're still here, so just for context on Skully, just so you know I'm not making this up. Recent match history, again, a lot of these were tonight, some of them were yesterday. 4K, 3K, wait. Oh, right, she DC'd. That was a 4K. Yeah, she DC'd. I hate that it counts the DC as an escape. 4K, 4K, 4K. I got a 2K on Father Campbell's yesterday. 4K. This was a 4K. She DC'd 2. 4K. She DC'd 2. 4K. I got a 3. There was a 3 out on Bad Ham. 2K. This was a 4K. 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 No, I'm sorry. That was a 1K. Three man out. That was my first match with Skull Merchant. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Second match. 3K. 3K. 3 out. 3K. 3 out. 3K. 4 out. That was my first match with Skull Merchant, was this one. So, like, I mean, I don't think I've been doing that terrible. Also, I just realized with them counting that like, last person on Mori DCing as an escape, that probably skews the numbers. And she's all the way down here, chat. Soon she will be all the way up here with the other 7 killers that are up here. I still do not remember when I played Dredge for 30 hours. Like, this shit is, like, I don't know when this happened. I don't know when this happened. I don't remember playing Dredge for this long. At any point. I don't. I remember playing Deathslinger a lot and Clown. I definitely remember that. And Chucky. I remember those. Legion, I played a lot, like, whenever I just didn't want to think and wanted just BP. I played Ghostface a lot for a certain time because I liked his slugging build. And I love Singularity, so I played him a lot too. But fucking Dredge, I don't remember playing this character for 30 hours. I know it's true, though, because I have 161 plans on him. What year is that? Was that year 6? Yeah, I guess I just played him a shit ton during the anniversary. Is there a Skull Merchant banner, maybe? No, there's not really anything good for her either. Hmm. Yeah, that's from last year's event. I'll use that. I'm gonna check her wiki, and I want to do some math real quick on the immunity phase, because I am genuinely curious. Because I know everyone says it should be base kit, but I'm curious how much it actually helps. Deploying a drone. Healthy survivors will come in. Injured survivors come deep wounded. Suffer from broken. Receive a claw trap. But survivor stands below a drone for 1 second. They're instantly scanned to become locked on. Hacking drones. 10% hinder for 6 seconds. Bonuses drones. Consecutive scan immunity. 2.5 seconds. %10 of 2.5 seconds is 0.25 seconds? Okay, what is it when... Yeah, so the consecutive scan immunity is 2.5. So it saves you 2.5 seconds. Or 0.25 seconds. So a fourth of a second. Like, again, I can understand why someone would tell me that like, feels necessary, but is that necessary? Placing a drone, she's 4.4. Everything else, she's 4.6. 7-second cooldown between placing a drone and starting its scan is 0.3 seconds. Disable duration is 45 seconds. Recall is 1 second. Maximum hacking timer is 30 seconds. All drones have an area effect radius of 10 meters. Drone scan lines are only visible within 16 meters. Survivors who are crouching, standing still, or performing a fast vault inside the area of effect cannot be detected by the scan lines. Conducts a sweeping scan of the area with a rotation of 105 degrees per second. Grants the undetectable status effect for 8... Oh god, this isn't updated, is it? I don't think this is updated. Nope, I don't think it's updated at all. Because this is saying deploying it gives you the undetectable for 8 seconds. Survivors can approach a drone. No, I don't think it is up to date. Let me check patch notes. No, that's 2023. Does anyone have the patch notes for when she got buffed? Okay, here it is. I found it. Okay, I found it. Okay. Increase the rotation speed to 105 degrees a second. Some of the wiki is up to date, because that's correct. 2.7 seconds was 10. Decrease the undetectable duration. Yeah, the numbers were right. It's just how you get them was gone. Remove the fast wall immunity scan lines. For every 2.5 seconds spent standing underneath a drone, the survivor gains 1 lock on stack once instant. Decrease killer instinct range for the drone. Now only raises when colliding directly with Skull Merchant. Slugging, hook improvements, Skull Merchant. Okay, yeah, that is what it was. So the wiki is weird because it has the numbers right, the buffed up numbers, just not the buffed up like interactions. Huh. Okay. But the immunity is still 2.5 seconds. So this is only saving you 1/4 of a second for the scan immunity. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, it's worthless, but that doesn't seem as strong as some people make it out to be. I feel like you'd be better off running, like, a lot of other things. Like, adaptive lighting or... Fuck, even, like, geographical readout. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but, like, it seems weird that people are in a tizzy about that. I haven't checked out that short's doing yet. How is it doing? Eh. Ugh. Also, I haven't seen cross-examination or full throttle at all, other than, like, a couple strange instances. And Linda Hand, like, I've been seeing it, but not enough to, like, say it's notable? Which is weird, man. I thought I was going to see everyone running that fucking perk. Yeah, it's like me with, like, Blackstrap and Cinderella's Music Box on Pyramid Head. I'm bringing that up in the 100-hour video where it's like, if you're learning the character, run it, and once you're good with the character, run it. But once, like, you kind of get over that hump, stop relying on it so much and try other things. Same with Blackstrap. If you're nothing without the add-on, you don't deserve the add-on. type shit. You know, fucking. Only reason I'm running it right now in Skull Merchant is because it's especially now that I see the numbers, it seems like something that's like not so. It seems like something that doesn't change how she plays that much while I'm learning her. So. And now that I know that it's a 2.5 second immunity after scan, because I thought it was like a half second. But 2.5 second immunity after scan, like that definitely helps me understand how I'm kind of using it wrong. I've been trying to double tap people with the scan lines way too much. Answer. Is that fucking break? No. I maybe could have swung into that. Shocked and appalled she actually went for that. Not even close. I'm gonna break this real quick. That already gets hit with Surge. I'm just stupid and forgot. I'm gonna put this here. If Shane's gonna, if he's gonna keep coming around getting them, I'm gonna force him to do it. It's just outside of range. Oh, nice decisive. I think that's the first one I've seen all night. Oh, and there's full throttle. Look at the fucking devil. Most of the merchants add-ons are not habit forming, but it helps to run variety. Yeah, for sure. Clear. See where he goes. I thought maybe he'd go out. I don't care about him purely because of Stabiffle. Kick this real quick. Put this down here. Hoping to run into me, but I mean, I guess him stopping like that works. We're down to 2 gens. They've only done 1 party table. That's weird. Put this here. Put this here. He's off with a broken, which is fine. I actually don't care about Young. Nancy got hits. That was good. That was good. They get Renato off hook, which is fine, I think, for now. They should still be hit with claw traps. They are getting rid of my drones pretty effectively, though. That's Young. I don't care about him. I'm going to put one in the main right here. Hit me with the dead hard point, man. Come on. Can't be doing that. Oh, I forgot that Young isn't my obsession anymore. I'm stupid. I'm sorry, chat. Sometimes I'm an idiot. They're very committal on getting rid of my drones, huh? I can't believe he did that. The reason I don't want to pick him up is because he probably has decisive strike. However, camping him... I thought for sure she was gonna have dead hard. I can't believe how hard he was committing to this. Shane, I see you. Not Shane, Young. Not even close, baby! Bye. GG's. This killer's peak, chat. This killer's fucking peak. Oh, my God. See, this is what happens, chat. See, I'm like, oh, I haven't seen cross-examination at all, and then 3 people fucking bring it. This is why I didn't stop talking sometimes. He did have decisive. Okay. Also, wide open throttle, again, it screwed the Nancy because they couldn't get the pallet save because it was blocked. I am telling you guys, I don't care how many people tell me this perk is quote-unquote problematic. This perk is not that big of a deal and hurts survivors more times than not. Oh my God. So stupid. Oh my God, 3 cross exams, really? I don't even think those were that bad as survivors. I thought they were playing that really well. Say you haven't seen No Mither. I haven't seen No Mither in a while. Fucking the entire team has No Mither. Knowing my luck, yeah, that shit will happen. Oh my God. Okay, so, by the way, as you all know, at the end of every stream for Pyramid Head, we turned Pyramid Head into a different animal every stream. So, while I wanted the whatever Skull Merchants thing was to come naturally, I talked about it with a few people, and I think we came up with something. I fucking hate this game. And I think we came up with something. I don't know if we're gonna do it tonight, but how do we feel about Skull Merchant as every killer? We turn every killer into Skull Merchants. That's my idea. That was a couple other people's ideas too. So like we could be like, oh, this is Trapper if he was Skull Merchant, you know? Speaking of, my artist is aware of the transparency issue with the PNG. It is being looked at right now, but honestly, I think it's mostly fine for now. I'll probably put it more on next week. I just keep forgetting to put it on. Because I've been in the, we've been doing the reacts at the beginning. I don't know, man. Like I said, honestly, I'm enjoying myself on Skull Merchant. Even in the events. Like, I'm genuinely enjoying myself. Like, don't get me wrong, the event is dog shit. I'm not saying it's not. It is. But, like, she's, like, perfectly designed to counter the event. It's really funny. Yeah, I mean, of course, we do it in crappy Photoshop instead of actual drawings. I'm not made of money. But I'll think it over the weekend. We'll see. Again, I wanted it to come naturally, but, like, I don't think anything would come naturally this time. So we'll see. But, all in all, first week of Skull Merchant, even during the event, I'm having a good time. Again, I kind of want to play off stream. And that's not something I usually say. On top of that, we would probably be much farther along if I wasn't doing the reacts for the past couple videos, because that's a whole hour pretty much taken up by those. So, like, it's not, like, unheard of that we're gonna get this done way faster than Pyramid Head. And that's nothing against Pyramid Head. Like I said, I think the reason I was so scared to play this killer so all the time is because of his mechanical aim. Because I actually have to concentrate on survivor movement, exactly what they're doing. I have to do the same thing on Skull Merchant, but the way the scan lines work, it's not the same thing as aiming, it's more positioning. I don't know. Pyramid Head was also very punishing. If you did bad on Pyramid Head, you were punished a lot. Skull Merchant doesn't seem nearly as punished, apart from the fact that she's an M1, right? Again, she counters everything in the event. The only thing she really cares about is the unbreakable pallets. And even then, depending on the pallet, she might actually kind of prefer it. She counters the invisibility because she can see where you are with the claw trap. She counters the healing from the thing because you're broken. She counters the invisibility because she can see where you're going. She doesn't counter the haste, but it doesn't really affect her too much. Like, she counters, like, even the portals. There were a few times when people took a portal with a claw trap, and I knew exactly where they were, and I just walked over there instead of taking the portal. Like, I do like the idea that there was one dev who was like, alright, this is Skull Merchant's time to shine. Give her a chance. Like, come on. Also, Springtrap with Celebrate Poster is... If no one... okay, I know a lot of people have decisive opinions on Celebrate Poster and Springtrap. If you are not running... Run Celebrate Poster during the event. Hit the survivor with an axe. Poison them. They are now super slow, and you are fast as shit. Trust me. It's just really funny. But chat, we're gonna call it there. First week of Skull Merchant again. It's been going good. I have been very much enjoying myself. She's actually made the event kind of bearable, which is weird. God, that is so weird to say. Pinhead's also surprisingly really good in the event too, by the way. They can't eat morsels when they're chained. We'll see how things keep going. The plan is to have the 100-hour video done Saturday, and I'm probably going to release it Monday. I haven't fully decided. Because I have Saturday off, and I don't plan on doing anything, so I'm probably going to work on it most of that day. But, as always, chat, I love you guys. I hope Skull Merchant's been fun for people, at least to watch. Say what you will about playing this character. I do think she is very fun to watch, at the very least. But yeah, I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Have a good one.